This video is made by Angela Irena as an accounting major student at Universitas Pelita Harapan.
Hi, it's me Angela. So today we're going to talk about two main topics, which is corporate governance and professional ethics. Why are these two important? In a business world full of challenges and evolutions, market trends keep changing and new regulations are implemented. Thus, company needs to have competence, integrity, and accountability to run a business organization. Especially if we want to become a business head or leader, we need to know how to implement a good corporate governance and professional ethics into business practices. From our main topics, will be divided into 8 subtopics, starting from the introduction, the regulation compliance, the related parties in corporate governance, ethical dilemmas, development of corporate governance until the conclusion. So let's start from the introduction.
In running a business, we need people, materials, and system. Therefore, corporate governance is important as a system arranging a business to ensure its effectivity and transparency in its process. That's why it's set as a best practice to protect business and its stakeholders. So here are several factors that can affect the corporate governance, such as legal, regulatory, contractual, and market-based mechanism. The legal aspect can be the form of the company, which, for example, incorporation. Regulatory means that the company needs to follow the country's rules or regulation, which have been set by the government. Contractual, like to set agreements with stakeholders like supplier or investor. Market-based mechanism in form of that the rules have been arranged, including the instruction, the control regulations, together with regulatory economics. So in corporate governance, stakeholders are involved, which can divide it into internal and also external stakeholders. Internal stakeholders including shareholders, management, and employees, while the external stakeholders is investors, customers, and suppliers. So besides this one, additionally we have government. Government can be the internal or external stakeholders, depends on the company form. If in a private enterprise, government is the external stakeholder, while in state-owned companies, the government is included into internal stakeholder. So an example of a good corporate governance that can be implemented by society or customers is by giving a good suggestion or input for the company to better their quality in the future. So here's a well-known code of conduct, Sarbanes-Oxley Act. It's from United States of America, where some of the key points can also be implemented not only in America but also outside America, like internationally. So governance code, including the leadership, the effectiveness, accountability, remuneration, relations with the shareholders. So here are the example of implementation of Sarbanes-Oxley in Indonesia. Here is the research from Telkom University located in Indonesia, where the research is about the implementation of Sarbanes-Oxley Section 302 and 404 in Telkom Indonesia as the largest and well-known telecommunication company in Indonesia. So the research method is using qualitative method with descriptive analysis. The result is that there are still weaknesses which limit the implementation of this Sarbanes-Oxley, and the suggestion is that have a good, stricter regulations and also quantitative measurement for a better corporate governance. Moving on to the ethics in workplace. So as we know, in workplace there are several ethics that we need to follow. Maybe there can be different for each companies, but here are some of the standard. The first one is responsibility, where the employees need to bring out their duties with honesty and also fiduciary. Fiduciary here means that they run the company according to the company's good, not for their personal benefit. Second one is the reliability, which by having integrity and also discipline. Next, morality and also behavior, by showing punctuality, avoiding fraud, and also maintain a professional act even if there is special relationship between the workers. And relationship is by having a good skill of problem solving and also stress management and time management. So there are several ethical dilemmas, and one of the example is it okay to have a special relationship like romantic relationship in a space of work or not? For some companies, they really avoid this special relationship. For example, like the husband and wife working at the same department, or someone having romantic relationship, they are not allowed to be at the same department, but some also allowed. For example, like banking sectors, they don't allow because they afraid there will be a bias or there will be a certain subjectiveness in the working activities. So as long as the company still allow the employees to have special relationship, the employees need to note that special relationship can be done as long as they still maintain a professional act and still maintain to finish their work accordingly to the ethics. So there are 3 levels of management, which is the top level, middle level, and also operational level of management. The top level of management, such as the CEO, Chief Executive Officer, CFO, COO, CMO, and CTO. So they are technical, operating, financial, and marketing chief officer. And followed by the board of directors, where the board of directors will be responsible to the chief officers. For the middle level management, we have managers, and for the operational management, we have supervisors. Here are the hierarchy of management level, starting from the CEO as the highest level, and followed by the CFO, CTO, COO, and CMO. So each of the chief officers will be supervising the directors, where the directors will be responsible directly to the chief officer in each department. So over here, the CEO, all of the chief officers, and all of the board of directors will be elected directly by the shareholders to run their role as agent, trustees, and managing partner, which means that they act to represent the shareholders and also act on behalf of the company for the company's good, not for their personal benefit. While the CEO and also board of directors can be removed if absent from the general meeting of shareholders for 6 months, and they have the right to give supporting arguments regarding the reason why they absent for that 6 months. And next, we moving on to the internal auditors and external auditors. The difference is that internal auditors is ensuring regulations, compliance, and internal control, having risk assessment and financial auditing of the financial statements. While external auditors, they audit financial statements, provide reasonable assurance of whether the financial statements have been represented fairly or not, and to express the audit opinion by the end of the audit. Here are the code of ethics for the auditors. The first one, for the internal auditors, they need to have integrity, objectivity, not subjectivity. Confidentiality is by keeping the data, company's data, only for the company's activities, not for the other, and to have the competency to assess and ensure the compliance. While for external auditors, they need to have independency, professional skepticism, responsibility, and improving company's credibility. For external auditors, they must be independent to avoid bias, so they will check over the compliance of business activities in a company which they are responsible also to the audit committee. Means that the internal committee, they will have the relationship with the internal auditors as well. It's also important for the external auditors to maintain professional skepticism by implementing critical thinking and detailed evaluation for the audit objects. And also having responsibility to detect if there's any misstatements or fraud indication from a company financial statement. Also improving company's credibility if the audit result shows the opinion. Like by the end of the audit, they will give the audit opinion, and if the result shows that it's having unqualified or qualified opinion, it can help to build the investors' trust with the company. Here are the development of corporate governance in form of technology and also corporate governance in non-profit organization company. Starting from the technology development, where as we know, technology has improved rapidly nowadays, where of course there are benefits and also challenges we face due to this technology development. The first one is increase in efficiency, which is less time consuming, while the challenges to this is that limitation of non-verbal judgment. Like we cannot see the non-verbal movements of the people while having a technology online. The second benefit is more transparent and accountable, while the challenges is the risk of data security threat because the data is stored in the system, so we need to have a higher security level to avoid the data leakage. The third one is easier to access information, while also there is challenge to this where the information can be misused if it's in the wrong person hand. And we can also have wider connection, but also we need to ensure the information validity before taking the information into process. In non-profit organization or NPO companies, the main focus is on building social welfare, not to gain profit. So the characteristic is of course prioritize the social needs, not generating profit. And they also have more simple form of organization structure compared to the profit organization. While the corporate governance aspects in non-profit organization is having accountability and also transparency to have the public trust and also have responsibility and independence of their actions. So here are several problems that mostly face in NPO companies where they lack of public trust, and some society they admit that they don't want to participate because they didn't trust the companies or organization. So the solution to this is by increasing transparency and report clearly to the society. Like for example, after holding an event or donation, they need to have the report and also the documentation for the society to let the society know that their funds have been gathered and also have been transformed to help the society that needs the fund. So another one is to be more responsive and also accountable to the society. After discussing all of the key points in corporate governance and professional ethics, here we come to the summary of the presentation. So first of all, corporate governance has been improved throughout the year. So for example, in my country, Indonesia, up till this year, ended 2023, the index number of corporate governance is showing a score of 54, which is in the group 3. While for the upper level, there are group 1 above 80 scoring and group 2 between 60 to 80. So for Indonesia, we are still in group 3 segments. And additionally, besides corporate governance, also professional ethics needs to be implemented, where not only compliance to the laws and regulation, but companies also need to commit in doing the right thing related to morality and ethical behavior. So even if it doesn't have any certain punishments and no written regulation, but if it's based on morality not supposedly to be done, it's not the right thing to do. So in implementing corporate governance and professional ethics, the purpose is to gain public and also investors' trust. Parties involved in corporate governance are stakeholders, management, holding the responsibility. As an auditors should be objective, and as the external auditors should be independent. The technology can enhance corporate governance as long as it's utilized wisely. So overall, this presentation is arranged by having the help of these references, where there are 1 ebooks and 2 of the article and also journal that I got from the website. The details I'll insert it into my caption, so you can check the caption below. So that's the end of my presentation. Hope you can understand well, and thank you for listening. Have a nice day.